Oh. Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. What is the greatest gift that you can give your parents, whether alive or not? What is the greatest gift that we can give to the previous generation, the older generation? And many of you are sharing great insights into this. We have been dependent on our parents. We have been dependent on the previous older generation. So the greatest gift we can give them is to be independent. By being independent, they don't have to worry about us. By being independent, we are creating sustainability. If we don't become independent and our parents, the previous older generation, dies, which will happen, then sustainability dies too. To evolve from dependent to independent is evolutionary. And this is what we engage in Meaningful Mornings. The relative in Sanskrit is described as samsara. Samsara is seducing. When one is seduced, one gets lost, and lost forever, times we cannot imagine. The absolute in Sanskrit is described as swatantra. Swatantra is not seducing, rather is saving. We are saved. And we are saved by finding ourselves. Samsara, we get lost. Swatantra, we get found. And this is forever also. Not long periods of time, but beyond time. In the past morning, through the past verses, I've been sharing how to evolve from samsara to swatantra. One of the strategies I shared was to let go. Let go of the relative of samsara. How many of you have seen the new Top Gun movie? It's called Top Gun Maverick. In this movie, the main character, he regrets an action from the past. And because of that, he's carrying that in the present, and it's making him inefficient, ineffective. until he finally realizes that he did his best in the past. So he has to let go. And when he does, the whole movie changes. He becomes efficient, effective. Let go. Another strategy I've been sharing is think big. Let go of samsara, think big towards swatantra. Coming back to this movie. This is a fun movie. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll learn now. The pilots who are being trained feel that they can't do a certain mission. But the main character shows them that it's possible to fly this mission, so then they feel it's possible also. When we start to think big, even in our ordinary lives, then the absolute becomes more real for us. Throughout these past verses, Sri Krishna has been sharing that he is the cause for all. He is the cause for all effects. He is the cause for that which is relative. If one thinks about this from a relationship orientation, that means we are all children of Sri Krishna. Brothers, sisters, and all sorts of combinations. And if you feel this, then the message from these verses is to serve all. When one serves all, they start to feel that they're serving Sri Krishna. With such yogyata or vision, then there is no relative, there is only the absolute. What does serving all mean? It means not having expectations. I used to think not having expectations is impractical. It's unreal. I've been serving for 15 years now. I've been married for 12 years. I've been a parent, for 5 years. And now I am confident it is possible to serve, to live without expectations. It is a freeing change in one's personality. I'm continuing to zoom into this idea of transforming the relative to the absolute. When we live in such a way to get, I want to get that which is material, like a check, or get that which is immaterial, like recognition, then we're exposing ourselves to samsara. Samsara will suck us in. If you live in such a way that you give and give more and give more than more, then you are insulated from samsara. Samsara can't suck you in. You are protecting yourself. In our camp for our high school students, the theme has been stronger than pressure. How to shift the balance from pressure to being stronger. And one of the techniques shared was sevana. Sevana means to serve, yes? And I shared with them, when you serve, when you feel all are your brothers and sisters and combinations of, that all have the same parent, the best in you is brought out. And this is very measurable, very structured. For those whose lifestyles are oriented towards service, that means they concentrate more. By concentrating, we have less negative thoughts. If you think of when you're distracted, it's probably distracted, you are probably distracted by negative thoughts, judgments, fears. Is that accurate? For those who are serving, and I don't mean volunteering, I don't mean just namesake, but your lifestyle is oriented towards serving. That is your vision. Then you conversate more. You have an altar. That altar could be your guide, could be the map, could be divinity, which means you have more positive thoughts. Concentration, less negative thoughts. Conversation, more positive thoughts. When your lifestyle and vision are about giving, then you contemplate. With your eyes open, eyes closed, you are contemplating. This is where it is not about negative and positive or dislikes and likes. One becomes an observer of their thoughts. Even higher and deeper than positive thoughts is observing their thoughts. What is the evolution of being the observer? Being awareness. The final identification we will have before realization is to be an observer. This has been shared with all of us for more than 750 days in so many different ways. And this is what the message has been in the past verses. Chapter 9, verses 1 through 3 is a section. Verses 4 through 6 is a section. And now we're in the third section, verses 7 through 12. This semester will end with verse 12. When we recommence in September, we'll begin a new section, zoomed into bhakti even more. We're on verse 8. Prakritim swamavashtabhyaha visarjami punah punaha bhuta gramam imam kritsnam avasham prakritir vashat. Prakriti, nature. Whose Prakriti? Swam, my Prakriti, as in Sri Krishna. Avashtabhyaha, I govern this. I preside over this. The implication of this? Creation is processed. The creator, here I mean the relative creator, is unprocessed. Prakriti is that which is unprocessed. Higher and deeper than this, consciousness. This word avashtabhyaha has a lot of profundity to it. Consciousness presides over the creator and creation, which means consciousness is not affected by the creator and creation. And for all of us, presiding means Shri Krishna is a presence. A presence in the creator, a presence in creation, find him, feel him. Visrajami punaf punaha, as I preside over nature, then nature projects. Visrajami. How often? Punaf punaha means again and again and again and again and again. This is like a TikTok loop. And again and again. For those who are a little bit careful with the language here, these words are very choice. Visrajami means to project. Shri Krishna is sharing Visrajami in reference to my. In the Ramayana, in Srimad Bhagavatam, when Bhagavan Narayana manifests as Sri Rama or Sri Krishna, the word Visrajami is not used. What word is used? Sambhavami. That does not mean my, it means I. And the point I'm trying to make by using such words, Sri Krishna is separating himself from that which is relative and that which is absolute. Visrajami, Sambhavami. Do your own research into this. Third quarter. What happens to this unprocessed nature? Bhuta gramam imam kritsnam. All of this unprocessed nature becomes processed nature. Specifically, bhuta, which means beings, gramam means diversity of beings. Here too, Sri Krishna is very careful about the words he's using. In the previous verses, he used sarva bhuta. Yes, there was a oneness of beings that was shared. Here he's saying bhuta grama, a diversity of beings. And he's sharing that with us to show there's a oneness in diversity. Do your own research into this. And finally, the third quarter, the main implication, avasham prakritehe avashat, which means prakriti is helpless to project. By my presence, prakriti is helpless, cannot help but project. And within that projection, the diversity of beings, that is us, is helpless to manifest. That's the translation. The implication of this is, earlier I'd shared, the conscious becomes subconscious, becomes unconscious. Waking, dreaming, sleep. Do you remember that? Here Shri Krishna is sharing the unconscious, that is our vasanas or our prints. When there's a change in creation, they become dormant. Only dormant. Dormant does not mean that they are separated from you. When the creator and creation comes back, you come back. Whether you're apathetic, sympathetic, empathetic, you come back as you are. And so Shri Krishna is sharing, you are responsible for your evolution. Do not think this change in space and time is going to help you. Space and time is helpless. You have to help yourself. From inspiration to application, for the sake of timeliness, I'll reflect on this tomorrow. Your application for today is What virtue are you sharing with others? You all have virtues, many. Which are you sharing with others? Shanti, Shanti, Shantihi. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be joy.